Did you have any experience? No experience at all.
Не было.
It just popped into her head, and that's what drove her. No, I wouldn't say it was a gamble. Even the first year it seemed so. Now we are back on Earth. If we brought from Momovka, we were fine, but here we brought. So the cows turned out sick. Nobody reimbursed us anything. We're not protected in any way. We haven't even seen the money in person. It all went through the treasury. They drew up a contract the way the treasury needed. Our opinions and demands were not taken into account. You live on the outskirts of the Saratov region. On the outskirts, yeah. Nearby is the Ulyanovsk region, 3 kilometers away. The house you live in, it's over 100 years old. Yes, more than a century. We'll take a picture of the house and show you the conditions in which the beginning farmers live. Nevertheless, people have not abandoned this village. 121 people are registered, but that's not a fact. If there are 50 people living here, that's perfect. There are only 5 houses on one of our streets and 6 houses on the other side. We have 11 residential houses. 11 residential houses and there is nothing around here. No one will come here, no parents with children. There is no school, no kindergarten. There is nothing here at all. There is. A year ago they closed the last library, but nevertheless people live here and start farming. How did you get into it? Why didn't you run away from here? I grew up here. Where to run? I don't know. I got used to it or something. I like cattle. But you must be used to do something. Farming, yeah. My parents ran a farm. And then I started farming myself and my brother. We decided to develop it further, open a farm somewhere. We decided to develop it further. How old are you? I'm 30 years old. A young farmer. Do you have a wife, a kid? No, I'm alone. Alone, decided to get into farming. How did you get started? Did you read it on the internet or did someone tell you to? Well, here she is. She pushed me. And who is that? My brother's wife. So the brother's wife put you up to this? Yes, she did. Why? Did she have any experience? No, not at all. It just popped into her head. And that's what drives her. She didn't take the grant herself, but she made you guys to do it, right? I didn't force him. It was just me and him standing around collecting manure. We didn't have any money ourselves. Taking out a load? Well, we'd taken out a loan before that. My husband was just sent to work, so we took a loan for him, 500,000. 3 times a year he comes, he covers our debts. Is it basically a gamble? No, I wouldn't say it was a gamble. Even the first year we felt like that, now we're back down to earth. It's not like that. I wanted to be able to work, to pay taxes for myself. I just don't want to go to shift work for 15 days at a time. It's like our youth. 15 days they work, then 15 days they get drunk. And the boys too. We thought they would come to work for us. What difference does it make? Same money in a month and half here as they get paid for the shift work. At first we had 4 cattle of our own. Then we bought 9 more cattle. After that we decided to register a farm. We went for a grant. We thought they wouldn't give it to us. We tried, in fact, to let my daughter-in-law get away with it, but here they gave us 3 million. All of a sudden, they decided to try. Let's give it a shot, shall we? Let's do it. Borrowed money for a business plan, because we didn't even have any. We made a business plan. Everyone told us it wouldn't work, that we had to pay money everywhere. We came to the administration and we were recommended to go to Alexander Kozhin. You go up to him, talk to him. If he understands that you are worthy, he will tell you how to start the work. We even came to him before the business plan. We sat down, he looked at us, and we looked like children. Eugene was 27 years old at the time. They looked at him, but he looked like an 18-year-old kid. But he has a brain in terms of livestock farming. He's got everything on him. I personally can't handle it. I can't even prick a cow, watch her, and he can't get a calf and calve it. And they listen to him. I'm all girly with them. I can't see them as a business. They are small, they are good. And he's like this. And then they called us and said that we passed the grant. Eugene came running in, so happy with a shout. Anya, we passed for a grant. What were we able to buy with the money? All the cattle. 28 cattle. Well, we had no forage. We grazed them ourselves. And then we started buying meadows and mowing. We bought tractors. We bought arable land. 2 tractors, MTZ-82 and MTZ-50 of the old type. We had 37 hectares of arable land. There are meadows. Before the grant we rented 7 hectares. Then we took 2 hectares from the parents and we bought by the scraps. From one bought 5 hectares, from the administration 1.8 hectares. We got scraps. Arable land too. We want to sow. We had a grand schedule, so we had to buy cattle within a year and a half. We scheduled it in 2 stages. We bought 14 heads of it in the first time and 14 the second time. But besides that, there was also the delivery of the cattle. We were given 3,349,000. 11 percentages we added our own. But besides that, you have to pay for insurance separately for each head. Let it be 1,000 rubles, but it is already 28,000. To bring all these cattle, it's again at your own expense. It is still money. The first time we paid 28,000 rubles for the delivery. 37 hectares of arable land. Do you sow anything on it? Yes, we sow barley, winter crops, for ourselves, and to feed our cattle. And what do you sow? Tell me. There is an old sowing machine. I guess it is on the run? Yes, we bought it and installed it. We bought the seeder for 10,000, then we bought a drawbar separately for 3,000. We bought 24 coulters, 3,200 rubles each. It came out more than 100,000 and the delivery. We hired a car to bring a seeder. It's hard, very hard, physically, morally. In terms of workers too, which is difficult to find. Yes, we have people. My mother helps us, with grain, or with cows, but she is 60 years old. Do you have some place to store what you harvest? Sheds, stalls. We took an old house from a neighbor. We put floors on it and made a warehouse. We keep it there too. How much grain do you get? Last year we sowed 10 hectares. We harvested 12 tons. This year we sowed winter crops. Sow with some more over there. The harvest is bad so far. I don't know what we'll harvest yet. We might not harvest anything. You have one garden here, another garden there. We have one vegetable garden here, one vegetable garden there, and one more behind the house. So you grow zucchini, pumpkins, what else? Zucchini, pumpkin, well, we plant for ourselves, cucumbers, tomatoes, not just one bush of course, right? Raspberries, currants, we feed everything to the cattle, all of them, zucchini, pumpkin, we don't plant beets this year, but everything else. We feed everything completely. What kind of equipment do you have for taking out the grass? We bought a rotary mower before the farm. We bought a tedder. There is a new baler. The baler is new, right? It's new. The mower is new. The tedder is new. But there is no cart. There is only one small one. I'm looking at the second-hand market right now. So what don't you have enough money for? The tank and the cart were taken from scrap metal. Yeah, exactly. You took heifers. Yes, we took them. How much milk now? What's the herd? 33 head of cows. 1 heifer. That's what we were buying. But there are 5 heifers. You mean you have been duped? Yes, we already calved them with our own bull. 4 heifers calved, 1 more to go. 2-year-old heifers, 4 heads. We bought out first 14 heads of the cattle in Mumovka. And the cattle were all as good as they looked. They were 3 years old. We got the breeding cattle within a month and a half. But we didn't see them until a month and a half. We were happy with the cows. But out of 14 cows, we slaughtered 1 the next year. She had a congenital disease. Her leg was rotting inside. She wouldn't give milk. We kept her for a year. She calved and she started getting inflammations inside. We bought her medicine. Felazine cost 160 rubles at the time. You don't know what to give her. A vet would come and give us advice. Then we started buying from 750 rubles per medicine. We had to give them every day for 10 days. All this is paid for with milk money. We have no other income except the sale of bull calves, because our business plan stipulates that and milk. And the head we slaughtered, and they calved and gave milk. But with this one we had such a mishap. The second time we brought 14 cows from Russia, Bazarno-Karabulaksky district. There were 5 major cows, 260 rubles per kilo of live weight. We gave 1.5 million rubles. Of them, 11 percentages are ours, and the rest 89 percentages gave the state. 5 of them were heifers, and under the terms we had to get pregnant heifers. They are the heifers that are closer to calving. 2-3 months before calving. We were warned that they will be calving in August or September. Plus, when the heifers started calving, a doctor came to see us. Then the coronavirus was just gone. And the boy who works for us, Vitalik, who works at our veterinary station, came to us. He came and asked what we had with the cows. And we cannot understand. 3 cows died, and we can't bring them as a marine because they would quarantine us. Veterinarians charge for each check. Blood test, leukemia test, everything else. 450 rubles. Last year it was 500 rubles for each head. We have 18,000 rubles for veterinary treatment because the cattle were sick. Cows, when they appeared, they had swollen joints, and they started to die. We bought serum to keep these diseases from developing further. If we knew that the cattle have this, we would have injected these heifers 30-60 days before calving, depending on a serum, and the cows would have appeared healthy. But no one warned us about it. We called the commission from the ministry. I wrote a letter to the deputy minister for cattle breeding. The chief veterinarian came to us. From Saratov they came to our veterinary station. The agricultural council came. Yes, the acts were drawn up, but no one reimbursed us anything. Well, what was the purpose of the act then? When I called Russia, they hung up on me. And to file a statement of claim incurred. The price is 116,000 rubles for each head. 5 heads, 116,000 for each, plus feed, plus housing. The cattle have been kept since March. The commission came to us at the beginning of September or at the end of August that year. To file a claim to court, we had to pay about 80,000 rubles. When we buy breeding cattle, we come to a large farm. These are large state farms, you know. Here is Russia we came to. They have everything, they cleaned up, everything is nearly standing. That's where we went. I never dealt with livestock. Eugene has. He took a look at others, at the cow's bones, and they was healthy. But how did we know about the disease? Well, it's as simple as that. We came to them, we trusted them, we bought from them. They sold it with a grant. It all went through the ministry, through government agencies. It all should be flawless, so we just trusted them. If we brought it from Murmovka and everything was fine, we brought it here, from Russia. And not only there were heifers, but they also were sick. They were not protected in any way. We didn't even see the money in person. They all went through the treasury. They drew up a contract the way the treasury needed, but our demands and opinions were not taken into account. We take pregnancy, then we write it in the contract. We don't write that we take heifers, we take pregnancy. That year was for us. Well, first of all, we were behind the business plan madly. We started slaughtering our cows. 1 cow's uterus came out, 1 cow was killed right on the chain. Yes, we have a 10-20 culling rate, but again, that's paper, but in reality, we slaughtered 9 cows last year and 2 this year. 1 in January because she just fell down and sprained her leg, so there is no way to cure her. You can only put her out of the misery. She was walking, giving milk. On the 3rd day we went inside. Eugene was taking her to get milk and she was sleeping. We didn't even have time slaughtered her, she just died. And what to do? Our farmer said to me, "Well, buy a new one." I said, "Give me the money, I'll buy it." So we bought her for 260 rubles per kilo of live weight. She calved, and 3 months later we slaughtered her. We gave her 183 kilos of meat for 190 rubles, but not for live weight, but for meat. It cost 34,000, and she cost us 116. This is the state money. What do you think? People who really want to get into dairy farming, what advice would you give them? What do they need to do? They don't just have to go to the place where you are buying, but they also have to show an X-ray of the cow that she's good, right? Or what else do you have to do? How do they insure against all that? Eugene, how do you hedge yourself? That's the question for nowhere. You know, we sell bulls, we don't keep them for ourselves. We don't sell them cheaply, but we have no place to keep them. Maybe we could keep them that way, but then again you have to feed the cattle. Either keep and feed or not keep at all. So the bulls at the moment, we may keep them next year in the future, but right now it's living money for us. And buyers come to us all the time already. They don't take them anywhere else. They may be more expensive, but the buyers know that the bulls are fed from the teat, that they are vaccinated for everything. And the sicknesses that you mentioned, we warn about them. They are not transmitted? No, not by bulls. Just the heifers? Yes. And now we have 3 heifers. They will be a year old in November. We have been treating them all winter. antibiotics and powders, taking into account the fact that we buy them specialized feed. That is, we do not feed cows with barley, even though it's all good. We buy them specialized feed. We buy Mega Mix. A car comes from Saratov, they deliver it to us for free. We feed cows with it. There are vitamins in it and they are completely combined. How much milk do you get? Not much, 210, 220, 180 liters a day. It depends. Do you have a place to sell it? Yes, the dairy takes the milk out. Of course, not at the price we would like, but at least that. The price is 21 rubles per liter. It's okay, at least this way. It turns out that you have had the grant for more than a year, right? We are in our third year. How much should you have now? According to the business plan, by the end of this year, we have a total of 89 heads, together with the sold ones, together with the reject. How many is it really? Right now there are 74 head out of 89, but we still have calving. We are still waiting for it. September we have to take calving. November, December, we have a tax arrears of 4 kopecks. We do not get subsidies. We do not get subsidies because of 4 kopecks. I have 20 kopecks. Anya has 4 kopecks. We didn't receive a subsidy for the second quarter on milk. This year, Arable and 35 kopecks were given for the second quarter. We just didn't receive 15,000. We are living in the present now. There is a harvest plan now, but we keep in mind that we still have to buy livestock, to do a lot of things. That is, we are doing that and we already have the next thing in our heads. In spite of all that, do you manage? In spite of all that, we are doing fine. Please subscribe to our channel, stay with us, and follow the farming in Russia.